Hi, welcome to our channel GM World. Our channel majorly talks about design and various aspects which impact design. In our previous videos, we have shared types of tables, and now we are detailing conference table in this video, which we feel is a very important subject. Conference tables are important as you take big decisions for your business and entertain your clients and other important people. Therefore, the conference table plays a very important role in your organization or at your office, and there are various types of shapes, sizes, forms to looks which are very important and are very subjective depending upon the type of meeting room you want to have. So let's start with the viewing angle. Viewing angle is very important aspect of a meeting table. All the members sitting on the meeting table should have a very clear view to the screen. Now if you look at a V-shaped table, all the members get a very clear view of the boss as well as of the screen. Hence it becomes more interactive, whereas if you look at a straight rectangular conference table, all the people are facing opposite to each other on the longitudinal side, longer side, as well as in the smaller side. Hence from a personal point of view, it becomes very important. However, in this case, the type of screen, width of screen, and what you are presenting on the screen plays a very important and vital role, and based on that the sitting arrangements should be planned in the meeting room. Height of the table and chair play a very important role. So very clearly we have mentioned A as a table height, B as the height of the chair. Table height generally has to be such that it is very comfortable for the user. So it's important for you to understand that when you have a chair in the meeting room, it should be something which is vertically adjustable so that a person who sits can adjust according to the height and is very comfortable while he's in the meeting. Check out our video on window types and systems. Now, what should be the distance between the chairs and the legs that are of the table? So generally the distance from center to center of the chair should be about 3 feet 3 inches. However, there is no fixed criteria in terms of exact dimension. It depends on the width and the type of chair you are using, but yeah, about 3 feet 3 inches is quite a comfortable size between two chairs. Now it's important that what kind of a width do you have in terms of your table, because when you sit you tend to extend your legs below the table. So the distance should be such that the leg of the person sitting opposite to you don't bang on. And in order to prevent this, you can also give a very nice metal sheet or any kind of partition at the leg level so that one strikes that and doesn't hit the leg of the person who's on the other side of the table. Boss chair is generally a bigger chair compared to all the other chairs in the room. It is with wheels and generally a chair which can rotate and also has the height adjustment. It is also kept in order to dominate the place, and also since it has got all these functions, it is believed that the boss sits on this chair for a longer time because he has to take multiple meetings and have to do a lot of decisions. So if he has a comfortable chair, it is much better so that he's more relaxed and calm and can take decisions wisely for his organization and people. Hey, you must watch our video types of chairs. Side chairs where the guest or the client sits are equally important. Sometimes you have a very long meeting where you need to have a chair which is very comfortable because the duration is very long. Also, it depends whether you want to keep the rotatable chair or you want to keep a static chair, whether you want to have wheels in the chair or you want a static floor chair. All these factors really are the factors which really influence the shape and the size of your chair, influence the size of the table. Let's talk of some accessories. So plug point, which is very important on the table because nowadays you need all electronic gadgets which are on the table and are being accessed and are being used. So from a laptop to a USB charger to a plug point to sometimes to charge a Bluetooth speaker, you really need points on the table. And nowadays, with growing technology, sometimes you have a call con, sometimes you need to have a webcam. So all those provisions must be provided on the table. However, when you interact with somebody who's not in the room, or rather, what I mean to say is you're doing a distant call along with the team, you need to have a much louder volume. So your speakers should be such that they are very well connected to the gadget that you're talking to. Also, these should be connected to the screen that is being used for presentation, so you can have it next to the screen. You can get concealed in the ceiling, or maybe if you want to have a tower speakers, you can have two of them in the meeting room. But this is very important aspect of the conference room. Let's talk about storage below the table. That's a very important aspect because when you sit for a meeting with your clients or with your office members, they generally carry some notepad or a file or some documents. So meanwhile you have a meeting or there's a briefing going on, these people can really keep their files below the storage, below the table storage, so that your table looks neat and clean. Sometimes you offer a cup of tea or a coffee or some snacks on the table when the meeting is long, so you can clear out whatever stationary stuff you have in these storages below, and it becomes very functional. Now, mic on table plays a very vital role in a meeting which is being organized anywhere. So the role of mic could be to do the recording of the meeting. It could be to amplify your voice. This could be connected to the speakers as I just mentioned, and also sometimes it is being used to really clarify the sound quality that one is talking about. Are you confused about doors? Let's check out this video. How many types of doors and systems are there? Now, as I talk about mic, there is a follow-on floor screen or a ground screen, whatever you call. This is generally used in a meeting hall, which is very big, and people can really not see one, each other or the boss, because the length of the table is such that there are too many people sitting. Therefore, you can have a clear view of table which are on the ground. So generally these are used for a much better clarity of the person who is speaking in terms of his expressions, and you can then relate to each other. Now let's talk about a rectangular table. So this is one of the most common shape that you will find in meeting rooms, as this table is in a longer form, and generally the meeting room is also in a longer form, so they kind of complement each other, and there is very less wastage in terms of the space. Other than rectangular table, let's also discuss a round table. Now, in a round table, basically everybody is being positioned in a way that there is no boss as such, and they're all in a form of a discussion mode. It's generally used more for a group discussion kind of a thing, but you must also consider the fact that a round table generally occupies more space than the rectangular one. Number one. Number two, the corners of the room goes for a toss when you do a round table. Then you have table which have decent amount of curve on the edges. Now the advantage of this curve is one doesn't really hit to the corner of the table, and the second one is that when you have more people, the curve can also be used by a person to sit. Hence, the four corners can accommodate four people on four sides of the table. Next, let's talk about a U-shaped table. This is generally when you have a large conference table, which is like an open from one side, so that one person can access and help in terms of serving, cleaning, passing on the files or papers during the meeting, and so on. So, but generally, U-shape meeting table is, or a conference table is used when there is a requirement of a much bigger table. Check out our video on materials of windows. Now let's talk about various accessories which are important on the table. So I am an architect, and a lot of clients come to me, a lot of vendors come to me, and I feel that if your table has right accessories, things become very easy. So these are very simple things and simple tools which you must have on the table. So to start with, you must have a calculator, because you on and off need to calculate things. So when you have a calculator, it becomes much faster. However, you have calculators in your mobiles nowadays, but i I still feel that calculator is a much faster way of doing uh, any sort of calculation. Then you have, in terms of stationery, a pen stand. So I generally try to have at least 4 to 5 types of pens, and about 3 to 4 different colors of pens. So from green to blue to red to black, I've got all sorts of pens. So you can use it for different purpose, for making notes, for writing some suggestions, for correcting the drawings, so on and so forth. Coasters on your table add on to the value, and they're very functional, as when you offer water, when you offer tea and coffee to the client, there are certain marks that a cup generally makes on the table. Or when you keep a water bottle, nowadays you have all these packed plastic bottles to for having water to the or offering water to the client. They generally develop some vapor around, and then this water on the outer side of the bottle slips down to the table and makes that part of the table wet. So I believe that coasters are very important. They look very aesthetic. You can have your logo on that, and aesthetically it improves the overall sense of the space. Along with these functional things, you should also have some decorative items on the table. Like you can have a small vase, you can have some artificial plants, you can have some real plants, you can have some vase, you can have some a bowl which is filled with water, and so on. So these things make the whole table very lively, and it looks as if they're coming to some office which has good sense of welcoming the client at the end of the day. Then you have various types of remote. So if I really count, you will have a remote for your screen, you can have a remote for your sound system, you can have a remote for your projector, you can have a remote for your alternate system, in terms of if you have any artificial intelligence system in the room. You can have various types of remotes, and you keep finding which one is where. So a proper item where you can actually keep your remote plays a very vital role. So things become very organized, and it is very sorted, and you also don't get distracted from your meetings when you have all the things in place. Hey, you must watch our video, what is the difference between an architect and a civil engineer. Some other points that are very important in the meeting room is your acoustic treatment. um, the meeting room could be small, it could be big, but it has to have a right acoustic treatment, so that there is a proper transformation of sound to the other person for a better hearing and a good experience till the time the person is in the room. Then you have the entrance to the room. That plays a very important role, because if some guests or clients are already inside the property, or rather inside the meeting room, when somebody enters, the other person doesn't really get disturbed. So generally the entrance of the meeting room should be from the longer side, and closer to the screen area, so that the boss chair is intact, and he is not really disturbed by your movement in the meeting room of coming in and going out. Marble or tiles? What do you prefer? Let's understand in this video, and why. Then a very important thing is dustbin, and this is really seen and observed, that after you drink a water from that plastic bottle, the people keep looking left and right, where do we throw that. So a nice good dustbin at a visible place plays a very important role. Then you have light. So then I'll talk about two types of light. One is the natural light, which is going to come from outside, and the other one is the artificial light, which is going to be inside. In both the cases, it is important to understand what is the direction of the light. So if the light is a natural light, it should be in a way that it doesn't make a shadow on the table. And if you're using a artificial light, preferably if this comes from the ceiling, it gives a much unified and spread out light effect. I hope you like the video, and we would be happy to have comments from you. And if there is anything specific you would like us to make the video upon, we would be more than happy. Please feel free to write your comments in the comment box. And if you like the video, kindly like and subscribe the channel. Thank you. We are going to come with a lot of videos, and it's a series of videos that you're going to witness. Subscribe the channel. Good luck and have a great time. Thank you for watching the video. All the images that we have inserted are from the open source of internet, and we do not intend to insert anybody's copyright.